dark. You kept pushing on, but then you went too far. When your ship has sailed and all your dreams are lost, everything is wrong, you feel like it's your fault. Just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call on me. Just call on me. Just call on me. Just call on me. You're stronger now than you ever been. You gotta leave now, it's time to catch the wind. You will climb up high and look through the clouds. And when you're feeling low, I know you'll bounce back. Oh, and just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call on me. Just call on me. For you, baby, remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call on me. Just call on me. Just call on me. Just call on me.
From Martinsville Speedway in the beautiful hills of Virginia, the A Lot Cleaner Property Management and Maintenance Xfinity Series is ready to get it on here in Cut Week of the Round of 8. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Martinsville, Virginia, where, as I had just mentioned, we are in a Cut Week tonight here in the Xfinity Series. You've been with us all season long, and we appreciate all of you coming along for the ride, as this season has just absolutely evaporated from before our very eyes. Of course, tonight, Bennett Allen already locked into the playoffs with that win last week at Homestead, Miami, ready to rock and roll. Mike McConville, the non-playoff driver from Cape May, New Jersey, brings home the checkered flag at Las Vegas, so unfortunately that's not going to do much good for him except for add to his bragging rights. I'm Dave Regal here in the Sim Racing Media broadcast booth, And I'll be with you every step of the way, from the green flag to the checkered flag, right here on Sim Racing Media. And folks, I want to welcome you into the Tony Trapasso Memorial Broadcast booth as qualifying is underway. Bennett Allen just wrapped up his qualifying effort with a 19.43 second lap. Gabriel Lafreniere went 19.43, and basically they are mirror images of one another. Jeremiah Mullins 1/100th of a second faster than Brandon Minto. Dan Morgan right now just wrapping up his qualifying effort out of Dubuque, while our Las Vegas winner in the Funkaway 94, Mike McConville Jr. from Cape May, New Jersey, is now getting ready to rock and roll on his first qualifying lap. Of course, he's smoking the tire here and brings it around. Oof. That's going to negate that first lap. He's going to have to tow and get back on in there. Ron Fitting from Sumter, South Carolina, out here on track now, just finishing his second qualifying lap. He went 8th fastest on the timing line as McConville comes back out. He's going to try to get those tires all nice and hot. It may affect his lap time here, but we'll see what happens as that clock's still running. Now we're going to get a time here as he crosses the start-finish line, hauling it down into 1 and 2 pretty gingerly. So maybe short track's not a strong suit out of the young man from South Jersey. As we see him rolling out of 3 and 4, he swings it out to the wall, nearly touches but doesn't. And McConville goes 7th fastest on the timing tower. We're going to see if we can drop in with McConville, as I've got a little bit of ribbon to give him. And, of course, I don't see him in our Discord chat, so he's going to have to wait. As, of course, his Philadelphia Eagles going to be hosting my Dallas Cowboys on Sunday afternoon over on Fox. Ron Fitting trying to get a couple of warm-up laps in here. We'll see if Bennett Allen is available. Hey, Bennett, it's Dave up in the booth. You got me?
Hey, Dave.
Hey, man, listen. An exciting night tonight. You're already locked into the playoffs, so what are you thinking as we get, down and dirty tonight?
I might leave mid-race, honestly. I'm watching the Lions play, so as a big Lions fan, I'm, more worried about that game than the race. But after last week and getting myself locked in, I've been a little bit more comfortable and getting my mind ready for Phoenix.
Yeah, your Detroit Lions make their first return to Monday Night Football since 2018, according to the great Joe Buck over on Twitter earlier today, or X as it is now known. But pretty exciting for the Lions, especially because they do get to play host to Joe Buck and the Hall of Famer, Troy Aikman.
Yeah, I've been kind of worried about this game all week due to the fact of the egg that we laid against Baltimore. So I'm just kind of hoping that this game goes better. I hope we get a score on the first drive. Offense right now is looking decent. I've noticed that the Lions really like just using every down possible. We always have third down unless we have a really big play. And I will continue my thought after this play. It works. We got a first down.
Look at that. Fresh set of downs. Now, speaking of downs, last night everybody's morale was kind of down after the Cup Series race. That just seemed to, it was kind of like Lamb Chop. That was the song that never ends. 500 laps last night here at the Paperclip. It was a long night, just 3 cars left at the end when the checkered flag finally mercifully waved. What are you thinking about as far as the 250 laps you've got to lay down tonight?
I'm just hoping they go by fast. A smaller field than usual. So I'm hoping that everyone kind of keeps a level head. And I'm hoping also that, I don't know how to explain this. I kind of want it to go green so I can finish the race before the game ends. But also, if we keep having yellows, I can still watch the game under yellow. You know what I mean? So, it's a yin-yang type situation.
I do. I just spent the last several weeks watching playoff baseball while I was trying to watch a race.
So, it's harder when you are racing and I'm trying to watch. But I like Martinsville. It's a short track. I've won the last 2 times we've shown up here. But a lot of my focus is on Phoenix next week, and been working with my setup shop recently to try to get that setup tuned to where we can have a lot of good, good races. So, yeah. If I talk to you later, I'll probably talk mostly more about the Lions game. But
That's fine. By the time I pull you in later, I'm going to be ready to talk football instead of racing by then.
yeah, and I've been watching a little bit of baseball, just because it's World Series, so why not watch baseball? And
My heart hurts. I don't even want to talk about it.
yeah, I was going to mention that. So
I mean, I'm required to as somebody who does what I do for a job here, but my soul hurts, and it is what it is. Good luck to the Rangers. At least you know what, I can cheer on the Rangers because Nolan Ryan back in the 70s, 80s, and 90s, and then of course the team that traded away A-Rod.
yeah.
To be fair, their former owner used to drink.
Yeah, yeah. I'm kind of cheering for the Rangers. I don't really care for the Diamondbacks. I never even thought they'd be a World Series contender. And after now seeing that they're in the World Series, and after watching Game 1, and I didn't get to see Game 2, but is that tonight? Is Game 2 or Game 3 tonight?
It's on. It's there.
Yeah. So.
Well, we'll see what happens. I'm sure I'll be checking in on it at some point, especially when we get, hopefully, into one of these long green flag runs. But I'll tell you what, right now I want to try to get a hold of your teammates. So, Bennett, listen, good luck tonight, and we'll see what happens later on this evening here on the track and up in Detroit.
Yeah. Thanks, Dave.
Thank you, sir. We're going to get a hold of Aaron Mack. Of course, we just talked to the last driver who won the last 2 races here, but the driver who brought home a checkered flag before last spring here at Martinsville, Mr. Aaron Mack. Hey, it's Dave up in the booth. You got me?
I got you, Dave. What's going on?
Nothing, man. Listen, I mean, I've been all excited because, you brought home the checkered flag at Daytona earlier this season. Of course, that's my favorite track to be at. But last spring, you managed to bring home checkers here at the Paperclip. What are you trying to look for tonight as, we're here in the autumn? It's a little bit the same temperature-wise as we would have in April. So what are you thinking tonight?
Keeping the nose clean. Obviously, running fast laps. As we know, the field is pretty fast anyways. But yeah, just trying to stay out of trouble is the main thing.
Says everybody in this entire server tonight. And if they watched last night's Cup race, just get a helmet on and use that car as a protector, not a weapon.
Correct.
All right, my man. Well, listen, good luck tonight, and see if you can bring home a couple of stage wins, maybe a checkered flag here at the end.
I hope so.
All right, brother man. As we are going to get ready to grid up here, qualifying has completed. Chris Claude making his always popular and high-energy race announcements on race radio. The drivers getting into their cars. Brandon Minto here in our warm-up session. We'll see if we can get a hold of old Brandon. Actually, you know what? No, we're gonna get a hold of Brian Tarnowski from MPG Racing. Hey, Brian, it's Dave up in the booth. You got me?
Yeah, I gotcha.
Hey, man, listen, Waukesha is always cheering on for you. I love the paint scheme tonight. Who are you going to call? Tarnowski. That's all I'm thinking right now.
I'm trying to get Stacy to haunt me tonight, so maybe I can catch her.
Listen, I get it. Here's the thing. This is a short track. I know that there's not going to be a whole lot of real estate to bump and bang around. What's going to be your strategy getting through these stages tonight?
I think my goal is to stay out of the playoff drivers' ways and just try to keep it clean. That's pretty much my plan. Try to keep it straight, keep the fenders on it.
Absolutely. Now, Chris had alluded to me before I came on the air tonight that you have some kind of an announcement with the Truck Series next week at Phoenix.
Yeah. If I can get 20 drivers to show up to the championship race, I'm gonna put up a cash prize for the highest finishing non-playoff driver.
Well, you folks out there in YouTube land heard it right here. Make sure that you get into that race if you are one of our drivers that has been absent Especially because, Brian, we have so many drivers that, pop in and out of here. I always feel like it's kind of like moths drawn to light. When the light is on, people show up, and when the light turns off, people disappear. It's always good, especially on championship week, to get your butt in the cockpit and get some laps under your belt.
Oh yeah, and I'm kind of one of those, with real life and everything happening. But next week I'm going to try to make all 3 series, just so we're out there.
Absolutely, man. I mean, listen, the Stacy Strong Cup Series last night was a pretty tough watch, if I do say so myself, for those of us that were here for all 4 hours of it. But, as we head into the off season, what's going to be your plans as far as preparing for next year?
I'm making an addition to my rig, so hopefully Stacy doesn't break anything for me, because I'm going to spend some more money. But other than that, I am just going to try to get better with the setups and hopefully be more competitive. And the goal is to make at least 95% of the races next year.
Hey, man, listen, I get it. Trust me. I mean, the off season is where you can do some of your best work, preparing for the upcoming season. So we look forward to spending yet another year together. I know this is yours and my 3rd year together here in the SNN family, so I look forward to year number 4, brother.
Oh yeah, definitely. And if somebody does make me mad tonight, I'll try to push them up in the booth with you. So.
My man, pots and pans. That's how we do it.
So, but yeah, no, I had fun. I glad to do what I do to keep everything going and keep everybody being able to watch. So.
All right, man. Listen, we appreciate you. I know I certainly do. And good luck tonight. And hopefully all of Keisha and Stacy is cheering you on.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And if you see her, let me know, because I'm going to trap her ass.
My man, I got you. Later, brother.
All right, talk to you.
That, of course, the great Brian Tarnowski, one of the best people that I have come across here on the iRacing.com servers. I mean, here's the thing. I've met some really incredible people over the years in this league alone. Tony Bird, of course, Brian Tarnowski, Chris Claude, just to name a few. Of course, my Jedi Master, Bob Nestor, no longer with us in this league, but I look forward to seeing these guys every week. It's just like walking into it's like walking into Cheers, where everybody knows your name, and it's just something very special in this league when these guys operate like family, like friends, and that's what iRacing was originally brought about for, to bring people together around the altar that is racing. And, I had an opportunity a couple of weeks ago to be with my Sim Racing Media family down in Homestead, Miami, which was a great experience. We'll get into that later on tonight, but first things first, we do want to take a look here at our race info as we go back up into our blimp cam, if you will. See if we can pull up that beautiful bean footage here. Come on, graphics, don't let me down now. Here we are. 68 degrees in the stands tonight. 74 degrees the track temperature, so a lot in common with last night's track temperature. Of course, as we get ready to rock and roll here tonight, 250 scheduled laps. Stage 1 going to conclude at the end of lap number 60. Stage 2 going to end at the conclusion of lap number 120. Just 5 sets of tires tonight, so a little more than half of what they needed for the Cup Series last night. As these drivers getting into their machines just now, we're going to get through our starting lineup, of course. Gabriel Lafreniere out of St. Jude going to be on the pole tonight, joined by Bennett Allen here on the front row out of Chattanooga, Tennessee. Of course, our 2022 M&N Xfinity Series champion in his B-Blaze Vintage JCTV Broadcasting number 15 Chevrolet Camaro. Jeremiah Mullins in the Bass Pro Shops machine, driving that Toyota tonight, joined by Nick Hansen in the 99, as well as Brandon Minto on row number 2. Row number 3 also going to feature Chris Claude, while row number 4 going to feature Mike Wright, one of the whisperers here as he's in that Peanut Butter Cup machine, along with Alexander Gangler. Mike McConville out of Cape May, New Jersey in the Funkaway number 94, going to be starting in row number 5, as well as Ron Fitting right here on the outside of row 5. Row 6 made up of Dan Morgan and the great Brian Tarnowski in the Ghostbusters machine, a pretty creepy paint scheme, if you will. Ethan Ball and Aaron Mack make up row number 7, while Steve Herring and Rich Jett make up row number 8. Starting shotgun on the field tonight, going to be McAdoo, Pennsylvania's very own John Wilco. And tonight, folks, as we get ready to rock and roll, we have a new feature tonight for our Call to Green, and I'm proud to say that this is something that we all worked on at Sim Racing Media. So thank you very much for everybody to make us a part of your evening. Let's get ready for racing as the iRacing.com pace car lights are out, which means we'll be going green.
Pace car starting to pick up a little bit of pace as they come out of turn number 4. Pace car's getting ready to peel it on off. It's going to make that hard left turn down pit road as we get ready to turn them loose. The only thing is left to say is it's time to wipe the visor and adjust the 5-point harness. Race fans, it's showtime!
Gabriel Lafreniere getting a good jump over top of Bennett Allen as they go 1-2, throw a blanket over them early on here. Everybody side by side, yet Mike Wright here in the 98. We're going to talk about the manufacturing of Peanut Butter Cups later this evening as he is side by side with teammate Brandon Minto. Of course, Brandon Minto and his uncle Scott probably sipping on those Miller Lights, as he has been so well known to do in this league. 3 laps in the books as it goes Lafreniere, Allen, Wright, and Minto. Nick Hansen rounding out the top 5 drivers, getting themselves all nice and single file early on here. Which is not a bad thing at all. All of a sudden we see Ethan Ball starting to work the inside of Chris Claude. Ethan Ball working the high side of Brian Tarnowski. All of a sudden, Aaron Mack, Chris Claude, that's the 96 of Ethan Ball, and Brian Tarnowski go from side-by-side racing to single file. So many of these drivers deciding to play it conservative early on tonight. Not a bad thing whatsoever. As we look through the field, looks like Rich Jett in the 77 starting to think about pestering Brian Tarnowski, but he's got a rearview mirror full of Steve Herring. And John Wilco kind of in the catbird seat, off pace right now. He's running 20.74 second laps, while Bennett Allen just laid down a 19.45 as Allen getting around Gabriel Lafreniere. Lafreniere not able to get the run as maybe Allen just nudged him in that left front quarter panel right there at the fender, takes away the race lead, and that's our first exchange for the race lead tonight as Lafreniere getting loose coming out of turn number 4. That was Calamity Corner last night in the Cup Series, and tonight seems to be no different as even our race leader got himself loose. Ethan Ball once again side by side with Rich Jett in the 77 as Jett manages to work his way on past. Not a bad thing as he's going to gain a position now. He's up 2. John Wilco still pretty far off the pace at 20.16 his last lap time. So not sure if he's just kind of hanging out, trying to keep himself away from the leader for the time being, or if he's waiting for other drivers to be making those mistakes. There he goes at 19.95. So I'm curious about John to see if this is a strategy that we're missing out on here. You never know. You never know, as the Miami Herald's Greg Cody would say. And if you didn't get that, you don't get the show, and that's all right. As Rich Jett's starting to work over Alexander Gangler, we saw Jett get a crazy run this time around. And as they go down the back chute, Jett looking to the inside now of Gangler. 2 playoff drivers trying to fight their way into that championship 4. We can tell the playoff drivers with those that purple trim on their machines as, wow, Gangler just got tight. Going to see what happened here with Gangler. Not sure if he just simply punted this or if this was somehow part of the plan, and it looks like it may not have been. In fact, let's see what happened here from our blimp cam that just happened to be right above. We can see Gangler. Oh, he had a run on the inside of Rich Jet, didn't want to hit Jet, and gets out of the way. So heads up driving by Gangler, running in 10th position right now. Bennett Allen still with the race lead. Rich Jet now starting to work over Dan Morgan as they are side by side. Rich Jet quietly working his way up piece by piece through the field. Chris Claude, though, down 5 spots from where he had started this evening, up in 8th, now running in 13th position, so maybe letting those playoff drivers get around him and go up there and battle it out for the win. Almost lost my cursor here as we see Jeremiah Mullins starting to harass Nick Hansen. Going down here, ooh, side by side all of a sudden. No trouble yet as all of a sudden the 94 McConville just rifles past Mullins. My goodness, 17 laps in the books already tonight, doing pretty well starting out here. Bennett Allen, your race leader, followed by Gabriel Lafreniere, Mike Wright, Brandon Minto, and Nick Hansen, your top 5. McConville Jr. hauling it around here in 6th position. Chris Claude just getting around Dan Morgan. We'll take a look at that here as Dan Morgan seems to be hemorrhaging spots all of a sudden. Morgan gets tight coming out of 2, and Claude just capitalizes on that mistake and brings along Ethan Ball. So good for the two of them as they manage to work their way past. Chris Claude starting to look to the high side now of Ethan Ball, as Ball just managed to get past him. Not sure what Chris has going on as he's still Mr. Consistency here, running P13 as we're a third of the way through stage number 1, making good time tonight. Jeremiah Mullins starting to have to sweat Ron Fitting as Fitting is all over the rear bumper, and of course at the same time we can drop back here to Aaron Mack, and Mack starting to really bug him. Mack's getting a run on entry. He gets great rotation through the entry of the corner, but he just can't get around Fitting, as Fitting is everywhere he wants to be. Now Fitting peeking to the outside. That's going to open the door for Aaron Mack now to get the run on the inside as we go down the front stretch, crossing the start-finish line. Mack gets the run, and all of a sudden Fitting gets loose on entry into turn 1, and that cedes the position away to Aaron Mack for P8. What a run he got, and now he's ready to start picking on Jeremiah Mullins as we've got 23 in the books tonight. These drivers not willing to give in easily, that's for sure, as we roll through the turns. Wow. Some more side-by-side action here as Nick Hansen in the 99 starts to look maybe to the inside here of McConville. And the Funkaway 94 starts to drive away from Hansen. And Hansen afraid maybe he's going to mbop his way right around this racetrack, so he's trying to keep that nose clean. Aaron Mack starting to sniff that rear bumper of Jeremiah Mullins. A lot of good action back here as Gabriel Lafreniere has taken the race lead back from Bennett Allen. We'll take a quick peek here and see how that came about. We see them coming down the front stretch, and Lafreniere takes advantage of Bennett Allen and a little wiggle in turn 2 and just absolutely jumps over top, as it looks like we've got a wreck here on the racetrack. Steve Herring possibly involved in this. We'll take a look. Steve Herring, watch that pink number 89 on black paint, as he's going to be coming out of turn 4 when this breaks loose. He gets tight going into 3, and the rear end of this car is just going to step around here at 4. And just where he does not want to be, as that rear bumper kind of rips off of there. We're going to see if we can maybe see where he was here. We see him coming sideways there. Oof. One more time. Maybe we can see it from right up here at our starter cam, as he's going to nose right in through here. And obviously our man in the stand, quick to get that flag in his hand and bring the field under caution. Halfway through stage number 1 here, it's going to be Lafreniere, Allen, Wright, Minto, and McConville, your top 5. Ron Fitting, Dan Morgan, Brian Tarnowski, all opting to come in for pit service now. The only drivers to come down pit road as we stand. In fact, we'll take a look right here at Tarnowski, who's coming in right now. There we go. He's going to take all 4 tires. Full tank of Go Fast. Dan Morgan and Tarnowski both coming off of pit road at the same time. Tarnowski being scored leading as, my goodness. Quite a race off of pit road between Tarnowski and Morgan, as Morgan gets the win off of pit road. The iRacing.com pace car bringing us through the field. The iRacing.com pace car lights are out now. It's going to be Lafreniere, Allen, Minto, Wright, McConville. Your top 5. Bennett Allen going to have control of the field. I'm sorry, Lafreniere going to have control of the field. Opts for the low line. Comes out of turn 4. Enters the Geico restart zone, and we're back underway. The entire field side by side as these drivers trying to look for any kind of edge that they can get tonight. Right now, Lafreniere running away from the field. Mike Wright in the 98. Just ahead of what looks like an angry hornet's nest back here. That's Aaron Mack on the high side, and Jeremiah Mullins on the low side in the Bass Pro Shops Toyota Supra. As they run it down here into 3 and 4, they finally get themselves sorted out. But Rich Jett not ready to be put to bed early tonight, as he is going to challenge Mullins now for 8th position. He does get it for the time being, as he is literally 1,000th of a second ahead. Now gets the run over top of Mullins, who seems to be pretty committed to that low side of the racetrack. But Jett finding his way around the top side. John Wilco, maybe with some connection issues here, as he is just ahead of Chief Cook and Bottle Washer of the SNN Cup Series, Mr. Chris Claude. 37 laps of 250 in the books. We're working our way toward lap number 60. So about 14 to go now. I'm sorry, 24 to go now. I can math good. As we let these guys sort it out just a little bit more, looks like Chris Claude getting ready to do some battle with Dan Morgan as he lets Morgan by. But right now, last car on the lead lap belongs to Brian Tarnowski as he just seems to be struggling here with these new tires. Maybe he's trying to save those and cycle himself up to the lead. It's going to be an interesting strategy call for the 28. Gabriel Lafreniere, he's up atop the pile looking at Tarnowski, considering when exactly to pounce on him with now 21 laps to go in stage number 1. Bennett Allen not necessarily in hot pursuit, but just enough to let Lafreniere maybe cook some more meat off of those tires as he's got 40 laps on those tires. I mean, you can see none of these drivers came in for pit service. They've all got 39 laps, now 40 on each of these machines. So pretty interesting so far. The battle box, we see a lot of yellow, but no red or green, that's for sure, as Bennett Allen has about 3/4 of a second over top of Mike Wright, about the same distance. If we watch right here from Bennett Allen, he has almost the same distance in front of him that he does behind him. And if he wants to bring this car back, as Q would say in the old James Bond movies, he wants to bring that car back in pristine order. And hopefully he gets an opportunity to do that this evening. We're going to step aside and pay some bills here on Sim Racing Media. I'm Dave Regal, and this is the Tony Trapasso Memorial Broadcast Booth right here on Monday Night NASCAR. Welcome back to Martinsville Speedway. Dave Regal in the Tony Trapasso Memorial Broadcast Booth. You're watching the A Lot Cleaner Property Management and Maintenance Xfinity Series right here on Sim Racing Media. Pretty hot and heavy battle right here for Jeremiah Mullins in the closing laps of stage number 1. Aaron Mack, though, had a moment of maybe a Code Brown moment as we're going to quick run this back a little bit further. than my fat fingers were able to navigate to earlier, as he just had a little bit of contact from Alexander Gangler, but manages to keep it forward. Maybe another tap from Gangler as he got back rolling here. So obviously a pretty tense moment, while Gabriel Lafreniere is starting to run away with the race lead here in stage number 1. Bennett Allen following in P2 gets passed by Mike Wright in the number 98 Reese's Cup machine. And that Ford Mustang, he's got cranked up to crazy as he just blew the doors off of the JCTV broadcast machine. Of course, B-Blaze Vintage, as always, on the hood of Bennett's car. Brandon Minto running in P4 with Mike McConville Jr. from Cape May, New Jersey in P5. So you can pretty much throw a blanket over these top 5 with 5 to go now in stage number 1. Want to thank everybody for making us a part of your evening tonight on Sim Racing Media, as Gabriel Lafreniere from Saint Jude is running away with the race lead. Of course, he needs this tonight to be able to transfer over into that round of 4. And we'll take a look at our top 8 here in just a moment and let you know who's got a win to get in. And pretty much it's everybody that's not Bennett Allen. .58 laps of 60 completed here in stage number 1. Gabriel Lafreniere with nearly a second over Mike Wright and Bennett Allen. We're going to take a look during the stage break at that pass for the lead, or I'm sorry, at that pass for second that Mike Wright made over Bennett Allen. I'm not sure if there was a mistake made or not. But as Gabriel Lafreniere hauls it down here into turns 3 and 4 once more, he's going to cross the start-finish line, and we're on the last lap now of stage number 1. It's going to be Lafreniere, Wright, and Allen. We're going to see what kind of a battle is breaking out. Oh, Bennett Allen getting tight going into 1 and 2, rolls down the backstretch. He's now opened up that gap between himself and Mike Wright, while Gabriel Lafreniere rolls out of turn 4. Once more, he crosses the start-finish line, and he will be our stage number 1 winner. We're waiting for John Wilco, who was off pace earlier in the race, to come through here. And as he's going to cross the start-finish line, the caution flag will fly, and that will conclude stage number 1. Gabriel Lafreniere brings home the green and white checkered flag, followed by Mike Wright, Bennett Allen, Brandon Minto, Mike McConville Jr., Rich Jett in the double natural, Alexander Gangler in the 8 machine doing it proud, Nick Hansen in the 99, Aaron Mack in the 31, and John Wilco from McAdoo, Pennsylvania, representing the 570, rounds out your top 10, being awarded playoff bonus points. Wholesale pit stops going to commence now as Lafreniere, Wright, Allen, Minto. Looks like pretty much everybody on the lead lap going to come down for pit service. That's going to put Brian Tarnowski just behind that iRacing.com pace car as he came down on lap 31. And he's going to get a lap back. So he's not going to be on the lead lap, but he is our lucky dog, if you will. Dan Morgan, though, who came down on lap 29, going to stay out. And Morgan basically going to get that lead position, waiting for Lafreniere to finish his pit service, as everybody came in at just about the same time. Everybody going to get off at about the same time, as they all race their way off. There's Nick Hansen. Now we're waiting for the next group of John Wilco, Ron Fitting, Aaron Mack. That's the 96 of Ethan Ball, Jeremiah Mullins, Mike McConville Jr., and Chris Claude, all coming off of pit road, while Steve Herring still on pit road. That'll cycle Morgan up here into the lead, and I don't know if that's a place that he wants to be with several lap older tires. We're going to see if we can quick get a hold of Gabriel Lafreniere. And, of course, he is not in our Discord channel. So unfortunately not going to be able to talk with our Stage 2 winner, our Stage 1 winner. Going to have just fewer than 60 laps to go once we get back under green. Taking a look at the weather conditions once again here. 75 degrees the track temperature, so we're really right there in that sweet spot for grip. So 75 now 74, so obviously a little bit of shade here with the cloud cover on the backstretch. As the iRacing.com pace car going to bring us back to the front. We're going to go double file. We'll see which direction Dan Morgan chooses. Does he go to the high side? Does he go to the low side? It looks like he's indicating he will take the low line, as he will be joined on the front row with Gabriel Lafreniere. The iRacing.com pace car makes that hard left turn down pit road. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to invite you now to turn it up right here on Sim Racing Media. And under caution we go here tonight as Mike Wright seems to have crashed. We're going to try to get these graphics out of the way real fast for you. We're going to see what happened with Mike here in the 98. They were 3 wide on the front stretch with Mike Wright as high and out of the way as he could. He gets side by side with Aaron Mack, who just seemed to forget that he was there for a moment. They come down the back stretch, and Ron Fitting just shoves it underneath, and oh, there it was. We're going to see this right from the perspective in slow-mo of Mike Wright, or I'm sorry, of Ron Fitting. Fitting comes down. We're going to see him catch that curb there on the inside, and as he ricochets back up, he just doors the heck out of Mike Wright. That spins right around. He goes right round, baby, right round. But Ron Fitting just took out Chris Claude as well. We'll see what that kind of looked like here. As we're going to take a closer look. Once we see Fitting bounce back, he's going to suddenly turn around and just nose into the wall. Chris Claude and Brian Tarnowski had no place to go as the front nose clip flies off of the front of the number 10 Coca-Cola Toyota Supra. So kind of a rough moment there for Chris as he can't be happy. In fact, we're going to see if we can get Chris down here into the broadcast booth. Hey, Chris, it's Dave up in the booth. You got me?
Yes.
Well, kind of a rough break for you there. Wrong place, wrong time. How bad's the damage?
It's pretty bad. I'm going to be out for 25 or 30 minutes. I'll take care of race control from here for a while and just need to get as much as I can fixed and hope it didn't blow up when I bring it back out.
Yeah, I mean, it looked like you and Tarnowski just had no place to go. I mean, fitting nosed into the wall at the worst possible moment, and there you were, just kind of no place to go. I mean, is that frustrating as a driver, or is that something that it's ho-hum, stuff happens?
Well, of course it's going to be ho-hum stuff happens because I'm not a playoff driver. It would be much more devastating if I were still in the playoffs trying to get to Phoenix. But as it is, it's just one of those things. I thought that I'd be able to get on the brakes hard enough, and apparently I wasn't anywhere near slow enough to be able to keep from getting damaged. So I put some of that on me, just not reacting fast enough and not gearing down to slow it down. It's almost like I just slid into his car and just the front end just exploded when I hit him.
It sure did. Well, all right, buddy. Listen, sorry for your luck, but get back
I'll
out
be
there,
back
get
out
some
there.
laps under your belt, and we'll see
I'll
you
be
later.
back. Don't worry. All right. Thanks, Dave.
All right. The iRacing.com pace car makes the hard left down pit road. Gabriel Lafreniere with control of the field as we get Chris moved back up here. And now, of course, I can't for some reason.
I'll do it. I'll take care of it.
All right. As we get Chris back up into his Discord channel, Lafreniere and Bennett Allen ripping down the front stretch and into 1 and 2. They're like two kids chasing each other right now on the playground as they cross the start-finish line. Right here, we're going to go back to our Turn It Up segment and see if we can get you some of these awesome sounds from around the racetrack right here on Sim Racing Media. Oh, and we spin around again. This time, it's Bennett Allen. Maybe it's just not our night to turn it up. As we'll see what happened with Bennett here. We'll see what happens when we run this back. Bennett definitely not pleased with that performance there. As it just looked like, here he was at Calamity Corner once again, and he just nudges almost net codes behind Lafreniere. And we'll see maybe a little bit more from the roof here on the nose of his machine. It seemed like he was maybe trying to make contact and netcode just had enough of it. He manages to keep it off the wall and minimal damage to the 15, so that's not a bad sign. But that's going to shuffle him back here into 7th position. Hey, Bennett, it's Dave. You got me?
Yeah, you didn't see anything, right?
No, never.
Yeah.
What was that?
I was trying to get under him because he keeps sliding up a half a lane to a lane in the middle, and then I just hit the gas a couple percentages too much and lost her a little bit.
Lost her a little bit for sure, but I mean, fortunately, no major damage to the 15. I mean, that's going to shuffle you back here into 7th. Are we going to maybe take our time, or are we going to drive through the field like usual and just, regain our lead?
I don't know. I really want to watch the Lions game, so probably just chill.
Attaboy. Priorities.
Yeah, it's just not a mile and a half, so it's kind of hard to, down the straightaways look at my TV screen. So...
Yeah, if you move your eyes too fast, you're going to wind up in an epileptic seizure.
Yeah, exactly. I will say, I didn't mean to get into Mike, the yellow before. He broke earlier than I thought, and so I just kind of accidentally made contact and sent him flying, basically. But I'm glad he's not done for the night. So, but it's a couple of mistakes. It's okay. It happens.
Everybody makes mistakes, even the professionals like you.
Yeah, yes, professionals. It's a very vague term. I think my brain's just too preoccupied with the Lions game, so it happens.
All right, brother man. Well, listen, good luck the rest of the way, and we'll see what happens when you get back underway as you're going to take that EOL, shuffle to the back of the field, and get ready to drive through traffic.
Oh, go! Yeah, Sorry, watching the game. We'll see what happens, David.
I looked down at the field and I'm like, wait, the green flag's not out yet. What do you mean go, 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 go?
We just got
All
a
right,
big
brother.
play with him on Raw.
Attaboy. I'll be checking in on the game momentarily.
All right, thanks, Dave. You're the best.
That, of course, the voice of the great Bennett Allen, driver, the number 15 B-Blaze Vintage JCTV Chevrolet Camaro, as Gabriel Lafreniere hits the loud pedal. He goes back underway. Let's check in on that game that obviously has the attention of Bennett Allen. I know how it feels to be in that position, to be, worried about what's going on. Of course, the last several weeks, the Philadelphia Phillies making their playoff run and, of course, bringing it to a depressing end, if you will. But tonight, looks like Bennett focused on the Detroit Lions, who lead right now the Las Vegas Raiders 6-0 in the Motor City. And wow, what a play. He was not kidding. And I'll tell you what, it doesn't matter what era that we play football in. It doesn't matter what generation, as we're back under caution. Bennett Allen bringing out another caution. Let's see what happens here with Bennett as they go down the backstretch. He's on the inside. Oh, my. Everybody gets bottled up, but Bennett Allen just gets turned like a popover. Whoa, keeps it away from Mike Wright. And he may not be the lucky dog driver a lap down, but he's definitely the lucky dog for avoiding that wreck. But anyway, as I was starting to say, no matter what generation, no matter what era we're playing in, the Raiders just always look tough. That silver helmet, that black Raiders badge on the side of the helmet. You don't even really know what a Raider is. Wow, what a face mask call that was, as Jared Goff unhooks one. But, Monday Night Football has just taken on a really special meaning for me, as, of course, it features my favorite play-by-play announcer, Joe Buck, and, of course, the Hall of Famer, Troy Aikman. So Monday Night Football, it does all come down to Monday night for many of us in the sports world. Speaking of sports, checking in on the Philadelphia Flyers as they're hosting the Carolina Hurricanes. Waiting for the score to pop up here on the screen. Of course, they're a commercial. And unfortunately, I do have to check in on the Arizona Diamondbacks and Texas Rangers as well, as they get ready to switch. Looks like we're going to the top of the fifth inning. Rangers leading the Diamondbacks 3-0. Just waiting for the sideline reporter. There are certain people in sideline reporting that I just can't stand. One of them is Ashlyn from NBC Sports Philadelphia. Of course, she just kind of wanders around. She's taking up way too much time on the screen, as she's with Al Morganti along the ice here. If we could just send it back up here and get that graphic, I could at least know the score of the Flyers game. No? Okay, I guess not. Instead, we're going to watch an erroneous replay of a puck bouncing off the right pipe here. As hard as NASCAR is to announce, I can only imagine how much harder it is to be a play-by-play announcer for the National Hockey League. First off, the names are about 4 syllables long for everybody. And second of all, that game moves at such a pace that it makes NASCAR look slow. As we get ready to go back, green flag racing, it'll be lap number 90 when we go back underway. Flyers and the Hurricanes tied up at 2 with 13:43 left in the third period. Hurricanes outshooting the Flyers 24-21, so Flyers maybe a little bit more efficient on the goal scoring. As wow, behind the net and dumped up. Oh. Yeah, folks, if you don't have it, you got to make sure that you tune into the NHL tonight, as things seem to be getting pretty dicey there between the Flyers and the Hurricanes. Let's see what else is going on in the world of sports. Of course, Florida Panthers, the Ice Cats, if you will, leading the Boston Bruins 2-1. Might as well just switch over to ESPN.com here. Want to make sure we give them their credit where credit is due. But definitely some incredible games tonight. As I had mentioned, Flyers and Hurricanes tied up at 2. The Ice Cats leading the Bruins 2-1 with 14:52 left in the third. The Seattle Kraken over top of the Lightning 3-2 in Tampa Bay. Pittsburgh Penguins all tied up with the Anaheim Ducks, as the Penguins are 3-5 on the season, kind of an uncharacteristic start for them. The New York Islanders leading the Detroit Red Wings 1-0. New York Rangers at the end of 2 are tied up with the Winnipeg Jets at 1. Another tie score between the Blue Jackets and the Stars down in Big D. And yet to play tonight are the Coyotes and the Blackhawks, and the Las Vegas Golden Knights and the Canadiens. Montreal always starting off strong in the season, but right now the Golden Knights 8-0-1 on the year, so obviously controlling that Western Conference for sure, as the Montreal Canadiens doing very well once again with a 5-2-1 start on the season. And as we peek back in here on our race, Gabriel Lafreniere leading Rich Jet, who's now up 13 positions here on lap number 95, so about 25 laps to go in stage number 2. We've been ripping through this race tonight so far. Nick Hansen running in P3. One of the closer battles here, though, is Mike Wright looking to the inside of Alexander Gangler. Gangler not necessarily ceding the position away. He's going to battle him out for this one, but still not able to hold off Mike Wright in the number 98 Reese's Peanut Butter Cup Ford Mustang. Of course, an interesting story for the Peanut Butter Cup itself, of course, that we all know from Hershey Foods. You know, here's the thing. A fellow named H.B. Reese once upon a time was working for the Hershey Company, was fired or essentially laid off by Hershey in the early part of the 20th century, and essentially went home and began experimenting in his kitchen with, you know, other types of confections. And the man H.B. Reese there in Hershey, Pennsylvania, right in the shadow of the factory, managed to create the Peanut Butter Cup. And it was so good and competitive against the Hershey Candy Company that basically they bought the recipe and the rights from HB, and the Reese family has been basically collecting royalties on that ever since from the Hershey Company, and that's all he wanted. He just wanted to make sure that his descendants were well taken care of, and obviously they are. Delicious peanut butter candy out of the hills of central Pennsylvania. And a really cool paint scheme for Mike Wright tonight. Speaking of Pennsylvania, we're taking a look here at the rare form number 62 Ford Mustang driven by John Wilco out of McAdoo, Pennsylvania. So a few PA ties tonight. Makes me feel all warm and fuzzy inside. Of course, Schwenksville's very own Rich Jet in the double natural. Chasing down Lafreniere now, about 0.6 of a second between those two drivers. Brandon Minto out of Norman, Oklahoma, as always here with his Miller Lite paint scheme. Of course, right now we're just kind of covering some of these paint schemes, but we know that he likes to sip on the Miller Lite during his races. Always joined by his Uncle Scott. Want to welcome everybody in to the youtube.com live chat, as I've kind of neglected that this evening. Dcash Video saying hello, Dave. That, of course, is Alexander Gangler himself. Want to encourage everybody to get a hold of your friends and family. Let them tune in tonight. Turn on those bell notifications. Subscribe to Sim Racing Media and let us know that you're watching. And what you want to see is, we go into a lot of off seasons for many of our leagues here on the iRacing.com servers. It's going to be a pretty interesting winter for SRM, as we've got some really cool stuff in the works, and we've got some really neat stuff going on behind the scenes. Of course, a lot of that having been conceived on our trip to Miami And let me tell you, folks, if you ever get a chance, especially if you're part of a community like iRacing, and you have the ability to meet people from this community, chain reaction. Bennett Allen goes around. He manages to keep it forward. We stay green. Let's run this back here, as Bennett Allen basically just soiled himself. So we're going to see if we can look at this from the blimp in slow-mo. We'll see if we can... Oh, and now it's no-mo. And we see them coming into the turn here. Bennett Allen getting a run on the 94 of Mike McConville. He bumps into McConville, checks up, and gets a rear bumper full of Aaron Mack. But manages to keep it faced forward just enough that the caution flag does not come out now with 12 laps to go in stage number 2. But if you ever get a chance, I mean, you know, the people here at Sim Racing Media, we genuinely are family. I mean, it was incredible to finally get to put some faces to some names. Of course, last night, Liam Ervig, that called the race with me for the Sunday Night NASCAR Cup Series, finally got a chance to sit down and break bread with him. And Mike DeMoney, of course, Jonathan Leach, who I've met before, was there with his significant other, Emily Urias, who, of course, has also worked on Sunday Night NASCAR Cup Series with yours truly here. And, of course, Angel Santiago and his significant other. It was just a really great time for some fellowship, for some, hanging out and, getting to know one another and really talking about what we do here at Sim Racing Media. And believe me, everybody here has a passion for iRacing. They have a passion for racing in the first place. Sim racing, comes into play, and that's what these servers are supposed to be about: building a community and shrinking those distances. Of course, some of us think about the states that got to the people from the states that we all come from. Of course, myself from Pennsylvania, and we had from Michigan, Wyoming, Iowa, Florida, all converging on the state of Florida, and on South Florida, that is. And being able to just feel like you've known each other for years, even though you never shook hands. And it's something that I know was a passion of the late, great Tony Trapasso, whose memory we celebrate every week here. And I know that it's something that he believed in so strongly, that all of us know one another and spend time with one another. And, of course, we were exchanging some fun Tony Trapasso anecdotes. And I have to be honest, folks, he would have been very proud of what we accomplished together in Miami. Bennett Allen once again having some bad luck here. Manages to save it from bringing out another caution for himself. Of course, one more caution for cause from Bennett, and we may see him become disqualified. As we keep an eye right here on the 99, the 94, and the 98. Nick Hansen leading Mike McConville and Mike Wright. As these three drivers starting to really heat things up with just a few laps left in stage 2. McConville looking to get around Hansen, and Hansen not going to give up that position easily as they haul it off down into 3 and 4 once again. These three guys... Hansen gets loose right in front of McConville. McConville looking to the high side. He's going to take advantage of that and now dive right alongside of Hansen, now trying to get in front of Hansen, who didn't give up the position per se, as McConville out of Cape May, New Jersey, looks to get himself back in front of Hansen with now 2 to go in stage number 2. That's Mike McConville in the 94, Nick Hansen singing Mbop into turn number 3. We're at the last lap now of stage number 2. Gabriel Lafreniere getting ready to cross that start-finish line in about a half lap as we are under caution. And that will conclude stage number 2. Gabriel Lafreniere brings home the green and white checkered flag once again, back-to-back. Rich Jett, Brandon Minto, Mike McConville Jr., Nick Hansen, Mike Wright, Aaron Mack, John Wilco, Alexander Gangler, and Bennett Allen round out your top 10. So Bennett just kind of patting that security blanket as he collects another bonus point. And that will conclude stage number 2. Wholesale pit stop's going to be in order for the entire field. Rich Jett already in his pit in the 77. He may have come down a little too early as Gabriel Lafreniere, everybody all the way back through Brian Tarnowski, who has opted to stay out and get that lap back, coming down pit road. Sixth caution of the evening, fourth caution for cause as Gabriel Lafreniere brings the field back out onto the racing surface. He's going to be followed by Rich Jett, Brandon Minto, Mike McConville Jr., Nick Hansen, Mike Wright, Alexander Gangler, Aaron Mack, Bennett Allen, John Wilco, Ethan Ball, Jeremiah Mullins, and Dan Morgan, all on the lead lap. So 13 cars on the lead lap at this stage in the race is pretty good considering what we saw last night in the Cup Series. Of course, that kind of ended in about the wildest fashion possible. A little quick note recap, if you will. The Cup Series last night, after 500 laps, concluded with, and of course somebody's wrecking on the backstretch under caution. Let's see what happened to Brian Tarnowski. As it sounds like he hot shifted. Runs it off of pit road exit and money shifts. Oh, that's no way to be. Not only does he get it in the front, but then he quick toes down to pit road. But last night, Sean Rogers brought home the checkered flag, and it was such an interesting race. I mean, you know, because so many of these drivers had given up, and Ryan Samuelson in the 81 had a chance at the end, given by Sean Rogers needing a bathroom break as we get ready to go back underway here. But Sean Rogers needed a bathroom break, and it actually allowed Ryan Samuelson enough time to make up the laps that he was down to challenge Rogers for the lead in the final laps of last night's race. Chris Claude, rounding out the active drivers, brought home his first podium in the Cup Series this year and brought home third position even though he was down 3 laps. So just an interesting conclusion to last night's competition in the Cup Series. Of course, you can absolutely check out the Cup Series. Of course, the trucks are off tomorrow night, but check out the Cup Series live at 7:30 p.m. We go green flag racing right here on Sim Racing Media as it's SNN Cup Series Championship Week. Yours truly will be at the microphone, as I know that this season has been long and arduous, and believe me, it's just as long for me up here in the booth as it is for you, you know, watching at home. And I cannot thank you folks enough for the support that you've offered us, of course, through the loss of Tony Trapasso and everything that we've gone through this season. I mean, the ups, the downs, and everything in between. And just a really great experience this year, and we can't wait to come back next year. Hopefully bringing you a lot cleaner property management and maintenance Xfinity Series action, as hopefully Tony Burt agrees to sign on again for another year, keeping yours truly employed. And the offseason is going to be interesting. We're going to see some new realignments as far as teams go. Of course, a lot of these drivers, who were contenders this year, have now tasted a bit of success, but now they want to go the full Monty, if you will, and really try to challenge next year for the championship. That, of course, we're excited to share with you. And, of course, next Monday night right here at 8:20 p.m., we'll be bringing you championship racing in the Xfinity Series live from Phoenix. And then next Tuesday will also be Truck Series championship racing live from Phoenix. So going to be spending some time in the desert after leaving Virginia here, a state that's for lovers, and, of course, a little bit more temperate in the world of climate. And speaking of temperate, let's take a look here. Still 74 degrees. That cloud cover really coming into play here. As we see John Wilco chasing down Ethan Ball on the backstretch. Ball getting a run on him as Wilco closes in on the rear bumper, but still not strong enough to get against Ethan Ball. Running back some of these scores here, of course, on ESPN. We don't want you to turn your channel here or from here, but you can always maybe peek over at the TV and see that the Detroit Lions, just before the 2-minute warning in the first half, lead the Las Vegas Raiders 9-7. So it's a field goal festival in the Motor City. Right now in the bottom of the fifth inning, the Texas Rangers still leading the Arizona Diamondbacks 3-0. Of course, taking a look at the box score, looks like we've now gotten to the end of the fifth inning, moving on to the top of the sixth. So not too many chances here, as right now the World Series tied 1-1, with the Texas Rangers now leading us in the final third of that contest 3-0. Welcome back to Martinsville Speedway here for the 7th caution of the evening. 5th caution for cause as Mike McConville Jr. seems to have brought out this caution. We'll see him right here in the Funkaway 94 Chevrolet Camaro. As usual, this league very Chevy heavy, just 3 blue ovals for the Fords, 3 Toyotas, and everybody else, the other 11 cars out on the track. Oh my. Well, McConville fortunately not taking anybody else with him, so not a bad thing. Still not the way that he wants to be performing this evening. As we take a look here at Gabriel Lafreniere, still your race leader. He has been dominant all evening long after picking up the stage wins in 1 and 2. Track temperature, even with that afternoon sun starting to cook the back half, down to 73, so a little bit more grip for these drivers. Not sure what this button does, but let's take a look. No idea. As we go back underway with just about 100 laps to go, Gabriel Lafreniere leading Bennett Allen through 1 and 2 down the back chute, with Rich Jett in close pursuit. Brandon Minto, though, starting to work the high side of his teammate Mike Wright in the 98. The 12 now starting to have to contend with Alexander Gangler in his number 8 Toyota Supra, as it looks like Gangler wants to try to battle it out here with Brandon Minto. As, oof. Uh-oh. This is going to be bad. There it is. Definitely not the way that Minto wanted to be dealt with there with John Wilco. As we're going to see Wilco taking that inner curb and just coming up and collecting Brandon Minto, turning him sideways, almost like synchronized swimming here, out of 3, as they just spin helplessly through 3, and of course then collecting the 14 of Jeremiah Mullins. So maybe time for Minto to open up another beer and try to relax himself. Chris Claude earning the lucky dog position. Going to get his lap back here. Apparently, according to Bennett Allen, the Detroit Lions have scored a touchdown, and they have up 16-7 over the Las Vegas Raiders here in the closing seconds of Monday Night Football up in the Motor City. Just doing a little bit of research here with Zenny Optical, as I'm starting to get curious whether or not they've ever been considering getting involved in sim racing. You know, the things that we do during cautions. iRacing.com pace car lights are out. That means that we will have a restart coming up here momentarily. .95 laps to go when we come back. Green flag racing. The iRacing.com car, pace car, leading us down the backstretch, peels off, making the hard left turn down pit road. Bennett Allen on the high side of Gabriel Lafreniere, who has control. We hit the Geico restart zone and we're back underway. Maybe a little nudge here from Rich Jett into the rear bumper of Gabriel Lafreniere, as it looks like the hammer and tongs going to start to come out here between Allen and Lafreniere as they haul it down the backstretch. Bennett looking to the inside of Gabriel. Gabriel has no way to get him off of his inside door, and we're still going at it down the front stretch. Bennett once again trying to keep that run that he has on Gabriel, but Gabriel just really strong into 1 and 2, whereas Bennett is really strong into 3 and 4. But that gain that he's getting here in 3 and 4, not enough to hold off Lafreniere, who gets all kinds of speed coming down the front stretch on the high side. And now it looks like maybe we're going to just see this battle here for the lead heat up. Bennett Allen battling his way past Lafreniere, who needs a win to lock himself in to the round of 4, that championship 4, as Gabriel Lafreniere cedes away the lead to Bennett Allen. I swear, folks, every time I go to a Turn It Up segment, bad things happen. And it looks like now something bad has happened to Chris Claude. We'll take a look here, as Chris thinks that he may have run out of talent. I find that hard to believe, as Chris is a very talented driver, a very patient driver throughout all of these 3 series. As he swings it out of 4, no calamity there in that corner. But here's where we're going to see that rear end just come around on Chris. We can see that inner spring off, and he just wrinkles that Coca-Cola can.
Imagine a theater experience so real you're part of the action. breakthrough technology that shakes your seat at precisely the right moment so you can feel the action on the screen. Choose 4D Cinemas powered by Butt Kicker for the ultimate theater experience. And for the ultimate in movies, gaming, and sports at home, add your own Butt Kicker. A simple, wireless, affordable device that takes just seconds to install. Text the word on the screen right now to receive a special offer. Get Butt Kicker and feel what you've been missing.
Welcome back to Martinsville Speedway, where we just saw it live here in our split screen. Jeremiah Mullins really catching the brunt of a Rich Jet mistake here. We're going to see Jet working the high side of Brandon Minto in the number 12. A big checkup here as they go three wide. Gangler kind of drifts to the top. He might have made contact with Rich. In fact, let's see if we can run that back. Maybe just a little from Rich Jet's perspective here on the nose. Oof. Yeah, that one's going to be hard to gauge, that's for sure. As maybe we can get another look here from the blimp. Rich Jet in the 77 makes minimal contact with the 8, but it just sends the 77 around. And, of course, catching Jeremiah Mullins as he navigates through that little bit of mayhem. Here for our 11th caution of the evening. 10th caution of the evening. Nick Hansen, now your race leader. We'll take a look at the pit strategy. Hansen and McConville both have 28 laps on their tires. Mike Wright and Gabriel Lafreniere just came in on 162, so about 10 laps old. And Brandon Minto has 20 laps on his tires after coming in on 152. So kind of an interesting split here amongst the drivers, maybe some different pit strategies playing out. Of course, if there's anybody who I could suspect would be able to stretch these tires to their max, it would be Mike Wright, if I had to put my money on it, dollars to donuts. The iRacing.com pace car makes the hard left turn down pit road. Nick Hansen with control of the field brings us out of turn number 4. He enters what will be the Geico restart zone right here, and we're back underway. Now, folks, we're going to try this one more time, and if it doesn't work out this time, then I am going to give up on the Turn It Up segment this evening. And under caution one more time. So obviously the Turn It Up segment seems to be a bad luck charm, if you will, for the 11th caution, 9th time for cause. Bennett Allen brings this one out, and that may be enough to disqualify him, as that would be his second at-fault penalty. As we can see him working just behind Mike Wright. Diving in, catches that rear bumper of Wright and pushes him around, and then Lafreniere finishes the jump. Oh! Bennett Allen probably should have been holding his brake a little bit longer, if at all. And that will be enough to send Bennett Allen to Dairy Queen, as he has been DQ'd due to bringing out 2 cautions in one evening.
Imagine a theater experience so real you're part of the action. Breakthrough technology that shakes your seat at precisely the right moment so you can feel the action on the screen. Choose 4D cinemas powered by Butt Kicker for the ultimate theater experience. And for the ultimate in movies, gaming, and sports at home, add your own Butt Kicker. A simple, wireless, affordable device that takes just seconds to install. Text the word on the screen right now to receive a special offer. Get Butt Kicker and feel what you've been missing. Imagine a theater experience so real you're part of the action. Breakthrough technology that shakes your seat at precisely the right moment so you can feel the action on the screen. Choose 4D cinemas powered by Butt Kicker for the ultimate theater experience. And for the ultimate in movies, gaming, and sports at home, add your own Butt Kicker. A simple, wireless, affordable device that takes just seconds to install. Text the word on the screen right now to receive a special offer. Get Butt Kicker and feel what you've been missing.
Welcome back to Martinsville Speedway, where right now the A Lot Cleaner Property Management and Maintenance Xfinity Series is under caution yet again, as Aaron Mack has brought out the caution. Here on lap 202, so 48 to go. Let's see what happens with Aaron Mack. And there he is at Calamity Corner, just locking it up and bringing it around. .205 laps in the books here. As the iRacing.com pace car peels down pit road. 45 laps to go now, as we have just boogied through tonight. Ethan Ball, with control of this race, takes off. He's on 20 lap older tires than McConville, who's coming like a freight train. McConville, looking for a way, has a rear view mirror and a bumper full of Mike Wright. Mike Wright now getting ready to dig underneath McConville. McConville looking to the inside of Ethan Ball, secures the lead away as he makes the pass for the lead with now 42 to go. And he just took the run away from Mike Wright with some great defensive driving. Mike Wright cannot be happy as he's looking for that lead. Meanwhile, Ethan Ball ceding away third position now to Gabriel Lafreniere. Mike Wright maybe backing off and allowing McConville, as McConville smokes that left rear tire, opens the door for Wright. Now McConville gets a good drive off of turn 2 down the back chute, but Mike Wright just too strong getting into 3 and 4, makes the pass for the lead once again, as the 98 Ford Mustang gets his cups up here into P1. Now Lafreniere starting to challenge McConville for P2. This is going to be the battle for second position now as Lafreniere trying to lock himself into the playoffs. He's now got himself all kinds of wound up. He's trying to lock himself into that championship 4, and he may not need the win, but it definitely helps rather than gambling your playoff chances away. As we're just about at 37 to go this time by. As we're starting to see more orange and yellow in our timing tower, that means that things going to start to cool down competition-wise. A little bit of smoke out of Mike Wright's left rear. That opens the door for McConville. Sorry about that, folks. Had my microphone muted. Wasn't aware of that. But now Mike Wright's starting to open up that gap about 0.6 of a second, and this is where we're going to see him make that hay with 31 to go this time by as the lap ticks off. Now McConville going to have to find a way to work his way up to Mike Wright. So a pair of Mikes running in 1 and 2 with our neighbor from the north from St. Jude, Gabriel Lafreniere. Going to quick check in on some of our other sports in the sportosphere, if you will. Right now with 9:35 left, as they get around Dan Morgan. 9:35 left in the third quarter. The Detroit Lions leading the Raiders 16-14 over on ESPN, of course, with Joe Buck and the Hall of Famer Troy Aikman on the call. At the end of the 7th inning, the Texas Rangers still leading the Arizona Diamondbacks 3-0. Check out some NBA scores here momentarily. As the Dallas Mavericks lead the Memphis Grizzlies 110-100 in the 4th. Milwaukee Bucks ahead of the Heat 107-93. The Warriors besting the Pelicans right now 117-92. The OKC Thunder up 99-82 in the 4th over the Detroit Pistons. So Detroit, a busy night in sports, if you will. A little low scoring here at the half as the Denver Nuggets go into halftime leading the Utah Jazz 58-46. Some final scores in the NBA, 133-121 are the Nets over the Hornets. Bulls beat the Pacers 112-105, while the Celtics wind up beating the Wizards 126-107. 127-113 are the Hawks over the Timberwolves, and the Trailblazers eke out a win over the Toronto Raptors 99-91. Looking at the NHL, Detroit Red Wings, of course, another Detroit team. So really all three of the remaining Detroit teams in action tonight. Detroit Red Wings knotted up with the Islanders at 3 with 1 minute and 18 seconds left in the third. Looks like they'll be heading to overtime. Speaking of overtime, the Rangers and the Jets in overtime with 1 minute 29 seconds remaining. Blue Jackets trailing the Stars 3-2, while the Coyotes are blanked right now after just 30 seconds in the first period. Blackhawks getting that first goal of the evening after a wrist shot out of Connor Bedard. Canadian and Golden Knights just getting underway. They've just recently faced off, while the Hurricanes beat the Philadelphia Flyers 3-2. Panthers fall to the Bruins 3-2 as well, while the Kraken beat the Lightning 4-3. And last but not least, the Penguins dropping it to the Ducks 4-3 in the Steel City. So obviously some interesting stuff going on in the NBA as we are under caution number 11 for cause with 22 to go. We'll see what happened here, as I don't see it. Not sure what brought out this caution, so hopefully somebody can announce that. Starting to feel a little bit more fall-like here in the Northeast as it's 51 degrees at the Tony Trapasso Memorial Broadcast booth here in Norristown, Pennsylvania. A high of just 54 here in the Mid-Atlantic states as a big cold front moved through the area the last 2 days and opened up that door for some chilly Canadian air to make its way into our region. So that jet stream dropping down 5 to 15 degrees below historical averages, according to AccuWeather.com. Some other temperatures from around the country. As right now in Miami Beach, 80 degrees, 69 in Myrtle Beach. So here on the East Coast, pretty comfortable, with the exception of those of us in the Mid-Atlantic states. Right now in Manhattan, it's 53 degrees and cloudy. Queens are the same and cloudy. San Jose, of course, 69, which I feel like is always the weather in San Jose or San Diego, just 70 and nice. In fact, you know, let's, just for curiosity's sake, the San Diego, California long-range weather forecast. Of course, they're under a wind advisory. But the next several days, upper 70s, mid 70s, sunny and nice. Nice with some sun. Nice with sunshine and patchy clouds. Very warm and plenty of sunshine. Like, what an easy job. Plenty of sunshine. 70, 70, 70, 70. Upper 60s, 70, mid 60s, 70. Nice. Maybe some rain on Black Friday. But, I mean, for basically the next month, it's going to be 70s or upper 60s and nice. I mean, what an easy job they must have as weather prognosticators there on the West Coast. It's just frustrating because, I mean, you know, here it's on the East Coast, at least, it's like weather by Sybil, 80, 20, 30, 50. You know, it's just somebody got high as all get out at the Weather Channel here, and nobody can really make their mind up. As we go back, green flag racing, Mike Wright gets a good jump over the rest of the field. Mike Wright already out to a half-second lead. Rich Jett starting to challenge the 94 of McConville. McConville, though, able to fend him off for the time being, as there's just no way for him to get to that low line and really use that momentum in the track to swing it out wide and get some speed underneath him, as it looks like he's going to try to tuck himself right between Brandon Minto and Rich Jett as McConville looking for all of that. Alexander Gangler cedes another position to Ethan Ball. Ball, not a playoff driver. And, of course, Gangler is a playoff driver, and he has been working very hard all season long as Chris Claude has brought out a caution here. In the 10, working alongside of Rich Jett. And we see Chris here in the 10. Just brings it around. Chris locks it up, but not before nosing into that inner wall. And Chris Claude just jumped to the pits, and he may be DQ'd after bringing out that caution earlier, so that would be his second at-fault penalty of the evening, thus ending the run for the number 10 Coca-Cola Toyota Supra. Right, Lafreniere, Jett, McConville, and Ethan Ball, your top 5. The race is just getting going now as those drivers all came down on 202. Rich Jett, though, came down on lap 230, so just a few laps there. Let's take a look at the pit strategy here in the top 5. We can see Rich Jett and Ethan Ball both on the freshest tires, as Wright and McConville on the oldest tires, along with Lafreniere. So going to be pretty interesting moving forward here. Pace car going down pit road one last time. 8 laps to go when we go back. Green flag racing. Mike Wright with control of the field hits the restart zone. You see the front end of that car lift up in the air, and we're back underway. Lots of tape on the front of Mike Wright's car. That'll loosen him up some. As Rich Jett going to be bringing up P2 with Gabriel Lafreniere, rounding out your podium for the time being. 8 laps to go here at Martinsville as side by side goes Ethan Ball and Mike McConville Jr. As we haul it down, 3 wide now. Oh man, that's Ethan Ball in the middle. He's got Gangler on the high side, Mack on the low side, and he is the meat in that sandwich, backs out of it. With now 7 to go. Oh, Lafreniere's around. He collects Ethan Ball. And this should probably trigger NASCAR overtime, if not a natural green-white checker. Let's see what happened with Lafreniere. As we're going to watch Lafreniere, of course, all that three-wide action was going on behind him. This may have just torpedoed his playoff run as the 06 just keeps rotating. And here he goes collecting Aaron Mack, then Ethan Ball. Oh. Let's see where Aaron Mack wound up out of that mess. And here we see it again. Once Mack collects him, it is just all of a sudden John Wilco squeaking through here. So that's going to make it Wright, Jett, and McConville on your podium with 4 to go. We should see NASCAR overtime in effect. As we will be in NASCAR overtime. What that means, folks, is that when we go back, green flag racing will race around one time. If we have a caution between that green flag flying and the white flag flying, that means that we will rack them, stack them, and do it all over again. If the white flag comes out, then we will race on back to checkers. And at that point, if something happens, the next flag will end the race, whether it's checkered or yellow. iRacing.com pace car getting everybody lined up double file as we get ready to go back green. Mike Wright with control of the field. This is his bread and butter as he comes out of turn 4. McConville right on his bumper, hits the Geico restart zone, and McConville is hungry. McConville looking for Mike Wright to make a mistake. He won't just yet, but McConville's got the double natural. Schwanksville's very own Rich Jett just behind him. McConville. Oh, no. Nick Hansen and Jeremiah Mullins tangle. And we're going to rack them, stack them, and do it all over again. Let's see what happened here. Just as we got back underway, the caution flag flew. You can see the 99 of Nick Hansen pushing Alexander Gangler down the front stretch. And all of a sudden, Ron Fitting just catches the 99. And Jeremiah Mullins stopping to avoid calamity with the 99. So we'll do it again. Maybe they'll shorten the caution laps here and get us back to green faster. Mike Wright going to have control of the field. As it's going to be Mike Wright, Mike McConville, Rich Jett, John Wilco, Brandon Minto, Aaron Mack, Ethan Ball, Nick Hansen, Gabriel Lafreniere, and Alexander Gangler rounding out your top 10. And John Wilco creeping around here just off the podium, and he has managed to get his car into podium position a couple of times this season, so I wouldn't be surprised if he suddenly tries to put on a little bit of pressure for Rich Jett. Getting the signal of 1 to go here from our man in the stand with the flag in his hand. iRacing.com pace car lights are out. That means that we'll be getting back underway here momentarily. As the iRacing.com pace car leads us down the backstretch once again and into turn number 3. Mike Wright with control of the field. The iRacing.com pace car headed for the barn. Mike Wright coming out of 4 once again with McConville on the high side. Hits the restart, and here we go. Attempt number 2 now. As Wright gets his good jump that he's been getting all night long. Rich Jett now getting up into P2. Mike McConville from Cape May, New Jersey, just behind him. He's got to get out of turn 4. The white flag has to go in the air to see what happens. As the white flag waves, we're racing back to checkers. Rich Jett now leading Mike McConville as they battle it out. That's John Wilco and Brandon Minto battling it out for 4th position. The checkered flag goes in the air. Mike Wright comes out of turn number 4. Rich Jett follows him. It goes Mike Wright, Rich Jett, Mike McConville, Brandon Minto, John Wilco, making out your top 5. A great race once again here in the A Lot Cleaner Property Management and Maintenance Xfinity Series. Mike Wright bringing home another checkered flag to add to his cap, and that cap getting awful full. So we're going to try to find everybody here. Conville and Jett still trying to come down here into the broadcast waiting room. Hey, Mike, it's Dave up in the booth. You got me?
Hey, Dave. I did not think I was going to be talking to you after this.
I mean, like, I was starting to feel pretty lonely. You and I usually have a pretty good tete-a-tete going, but you decided to wait until the 3rd stage to come see me.
Well, I was trying to bide my time, and I definitely got some help there throughout the race, having to go to the back a few times and facing the wrong direction on someone else's doing, but you'll have that in iRacing. But we made it back up, and I liked how everybody raced at the end. That was good, clean, hard racing, and I thought we were going to have a nice green flag run at the end, and of course we still got some cautions, but spice it up for you.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, after last night's... Whoa!
Oh,
easy.
I rolled the car.
Whoa.
I rolled the car. Look at that.
I've never seen that. You know what, folks? We're going to run that back because that takes some skill to accidentally turn it onto 2 wheels. I don't think I've ever seen that, Mike.
Well, I was telling Minto after the second time I got spun, I came to pit road and they said they couldn't fix it anymore. And it felt like a suspension part was damaged because it felt like it was rolling more. And I think we can confirm it rolls a little bit more than maybe it normally does.
Well, I'm looking at the replay here of what just happened there, and as soon as you went to that little piece of concrete, it's like you caught one pebble that just rolled you over.
Yeah, and I'm trying my tricks from the old off-road truck days, trying to pop it over, and it just won't work.
Well,
So,
it did now. Listen, I mean, you're not really in playoff contention, but I mean, right now you're kind of looking at the off-season. What are going to be your plans for the off-season and preparing for the 2024 Xfinity Series?
Well, yeah, I did let Chris and everybody know I will plan in there because the engine. I guess when you're upside down, it doesn't feed the engine very well to cool it off. I did let Chris and everybody know that will plan on going again full time. I think we'll get back to that next year. So I will run next week. We'll have some more fun and um, probably go some road course racing and some GT cars in the off season. I usually do a little bit more of that just to have some fun and of course get ready for Daytona 24. But usually Minto and I have a standing Wednesday night date for some official Xfinity racing, so we'll probably keep that going, especially in the off season since we won't have anything else.
Yeah, I mean, the off season for us is not very long. I mean, you get most of November, December, and January, but by January you're already preparing for Daytona 24, and next season going to be a new damage model coming into iRacing. So, I'm always excited when they make these even more realistic. I mean, to watch the evolution of iRacing over the last decade and a half has been incredible, and next year I know that iRacing has a lot more in store for us.
Yeah, I think it's exciting. We all look at Rex and they do the best they have done to this point. But you look at Rex in different parts of races, and they get repaired. And you're like, how is that person back up here? And,
Oh, yeah.
And I mean, they're running a little off of what they used to, but in real life, you get a little pinhole in the front, and it affects it.
Oh,
way
absolutely.
More. So, some improvements of that would be helpful. I don't think we need to go immediate to if you lean on the car, it's broke, but a little bit more realism is helpful, and that's always good. And they're putting a lot of money into it, so it's always interesting to see what they get coming down the pipeline, and maybe in that process they'll add us our tape adjustments back. I miss those. I made a lot of handling adjustments based off tape on the front.
Absolutely. All right, my man. Well, listen, congratulations tonight. Who do you need to tip your hat to before we cut you loose tonight?
Appreciate Minto. We did some good laps here, trying to get some good adjustments and entertain ourselves during practice. And everybody go get yourself your favorite Reese's product, because I like the Reese's. That is why Halloween is made.
Absolutely.
It is for Reese's. Not that I needed too much of an excuse to go get some Reese's, but Halloween, go to get your candy tax from your kids if you got kids. 5 for them, 1 for you, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's how taxes work. Really what it's doing is it's teaching kids responsibility.
And sharing, right? You got to share.
Sharing. Well, I mean, listen, the government always gets their hand in my pocket. Why not?
Well, and even just the nutritional value, right? They don't need to go that crazy on it. So
peanuts are one of the healthiest things on earth.
So we have a good time with some Reese's around the house. So I thought it was fitting, and after I painted it, I really liked the car. So you might be seeing it some more.
All right, my man. Well, listen, congratulations. We look forward to it, and we will see you next week at Championship Week in Phoenix.
All right, no pictures of the underbody.
Gotcha. Well, that'll bring up Rich Jett, driver of the double natural number 77 out of Schwanksville, Pennsylvania. Hey, Rich, it's Dave. You got me?
Yes, sir.
Well, you're representing PA pretty well tonight. It looks like between you and McConnville, I don't know who to cheer for more, as he's South Jersey and you're here in PA. How did you get the 77 up to where you finished tonight?
I took a risk taking some tires there at the end, and it kind of paid off. I think I came out maybe one spot behind where I was, but I came out in the low lane, so it worked out pretty good. And then just used them and got where I could. I almost had Mike there. I think one of the yellows, if it came out maybe 3 seconds later, I would have gotten past them on the front stretch, but very close.
Yeah, man. I mean, listen, strong showing for you tonight. I mean, of course, not going to really matter that much going into the playoffs. Of course, I know we're waiting for Chris to get things loaded up there for the playoffs. But what are you thinking as we go into Championship Week next week?
I was talking to my teammate Wilco earlier, and he was saying we should, practice a little more. And I don't know if I'll have time. And I just said I just kind of do how I kind of what if I get in what got me here, I'll just do that. I don't want to really overdo it and just go from there.
Yeah, you really could be right on the bubble. I mean, as you finished ahead of Aaron Mack and Gabriel Lafreniere, and ahead of Brandon Minto. So you've got a really good chance, to get yourself into the playoffs, as Bennett Allen, the only driver automatically to transfer with that win last week at Homestead. So we'll see what happens once these things get uploaded here. I'm just waiting for Chris to... Oh, and here it is. Looks like our championship 4 are going to be Bennett Allen, Brandon Minto, yourself, and Aaron Mack.
Well, something
So
to race
Chris
for next
wasted
week.
absolutely no time. Congratulations. I'm glad I could break the news to you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Well, good luck next week. Before we cut you loose, who do we need to thank tonight?
Thank you guys in the booth. Thank all the admins, all the race control admins. Been a long year. Everyone's getting tired of each other. We're almost
That's
at the
usually
end.
how it goes by the second to last week.
Yep. I kind of got burned out there like a month and a half ago. Long season, and we're finally here. Thank my teammate Wilco, Steve Herring, for always having a chipper kind of spirit about the races, even though sometimes we might not get the finishes we want and or deserve.
Well, you definitely deserve this one, so congratulations for tonight. We will see you next week at Championship Week in that Final Four.
Thank you.
And last but certainly not least, out of South Jersey, Mr. Mike McConville Jr. Hey, Mike, it's Dave up in the booth. You got me.
Hey, Dave, how we doing today, buddy?
Listen, bud, I'm good. Eagles fan or not, listen, I was looking for you earlier because, of course, Sunday afternoon at 4:25, I don't know if I can really root for you.
It's Dallas week.
I'm just telling you, I bleed little blue stars. Bad things are going to happen in South Philadelphia.
Hey, that's okay. My mom is also a Dallas fan.
I'm sorry for her luck. It's one of those things where, at least, here's the thing. I watch the Eagles and I'm thinking, okay, they're looking terrible the first 3 quarters and all of a sudden squeak one out at the very end. Wouldn't it be nice as an Eagles fan for you to see them come out and actually just control a game for a change?
Yeah, where they put a whole 4 quarters together. That'd be nice.
Yeah, that's the one.
They'd stop taking, 5-6 years off my life every week.
And you thought it was going to be nicotine and beer.
That's the truth.
But, here's the thing. Tonight, you wind up getting yourself onto the podium, for the second time in a few weeks here, after bringing home the checkered flag in Las Vegas. What are you looking forward to as far as, Championship Week next week, the off-season coming up, and Daytona in February?
I'm going to call it right now. My favorite type of racing is restrictor plate racing. And if we're not in victory lane, we're going to probably end up in the grandstands. We're going
So
for
in
the
other
win
words, you're
right
going to be
off the
full
bat.
send Mike.
Yes, sir.
All right,
If I'm
FSM
not up
24.
front, look at the hauler.
FSM 24. Listen, Cape May doesn't get enough recognition in racing, so as it is. So, you've got to do something.
We're trying to get it out there, man. We got a retiring Coke driver, Michael Conti. He's from Northern Jersey. So, Jersey's getting out there a little bit, but it's all North Jersey stuff. Someone's got to put the respect on South Jersey, and I'm trying to do that.
Listen, I'm a huge fan of South Jersey. Wildwood, Cape May, the whole schmear down there. For me, Wildwood, of course, the white trash section of Jersey is where I love to be.
Accurate.
But, oh, God, yeah. But, here's the thing. You have come into this league with such a short time left in the season that now you've gotten a taste for how some of these drivers are. What are you feeling about the competition as we get ready for 24?
It is very various, which is fantastic for a league. A lot of the leagues I run in, usually like 2-3 guys every week, no matter where we go. But the few weeks that I've been here, the entire field has run up front at some point in almost every race. I know you got Brandon and you got Minto. They're the 2 heavy guys, and you got Mike White, who won tonight. But any given week in this league, it seems like anybody can win.
Oh yeah. Yeah, this is not the kind of league where I get to say the usual suspects. That's for sure.
Right.
And even you coming in as a rookie in this particular league. It's impressive to see somebody come out of relative obscurity and wind up on the podium. Yourself and John Wilco are both my surprise podium finishers every couple of weeks. So I'm excited to see what happens next year right here on Sim Racing Media. Before we cut you loose, who do you need to thank for this run tonight?
First off, I always want to thank Ethan and Nick, two of the best teammates a guy could have. They hit me up like, Mike, what do you got for the setup this week? I'm like, here we go, test it out, tell me what you need. What's it running for you guys? I'll make changes for them. They always rock solid with the setup for whoever. However, we all drive differently. I want to thank you, Dave, always putting on a fantastic broadcast. Love going back watching it. I told you this when I won a couple weeks ago. Chris, absolutely forgot. Chris, the admin of the league, when I won, totally heard it from Nick and Ethan about me skipping that. So definitely want to thank Chris for putting on a fantastic league. And, man, we cannot wait for 2024.
All right, my man. Well, listen, congratulations on the podium finish. We'll see you next week in Phoenix and, of course, next year in 2024.
Yes, sir. Hope to come back next week with a checkered flag, start off the next year correctly.
My man, Pots and Pans. Congratulations, bro.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Well, folks, another one in the books here in the A Lot Cleaner Property Management and Maintenance Xfinity Series. You know, a lot of incredible driving tonight. Pretty clean driving, too. It didn't take near as long as some of our races have. And, of course, last night after the 4-hour marathon in the Cup Series, yours truly was basically exhausted by the end of that, and I am glad to see the checkered flag wave tonight. But before we get out of here, we want to take a quick peek here as at our final results. Mike Wright brings home the checkered flag and is joined on the podium by Rich Jett and Mike McConville Jr. Brandon Minto finishes in 4th, while John Wilco rounds out your top 5. Aaron Mack and Alexander Gangler finish in 6th and 7th, while Ethan Ball, teammate of Mike McConville, finishes in 8th, with Nick Hansen mbops his way into the top 10, with our neighbor from the north, Gabriel Lafreniere, rounding out your top 10. Dan Morgan finishes in 11th, with Ron Fitting in 12th. Jeremiah Mullins finishes in lucky 13, while Bennett Allen, our defending 2022 champion, finishes up in 14th position. Chief cook and bottle washer of the SNN Cup Series, Chris Claude, finishes in 15th, while Brian Tarnowski, our esteemed colleague and friend, finishes in 16th. And last but certainly not least, after 95 laps, Steve Herring has to put it on the hauler and finish. Somebody's got to do it in last here tonight at the Paperclip in Martinsville. And I'll tell you what, folks, it has been a night. All things considered, it's just been an incredible evening all night long. Glad to see everybody come out here in these last 2 weeks. Next week, of course, we will be at Phoenix starting Sunday night, of course, with Sunday Night Cup Series Championship Week kicking off at 7:30 p.m. with the green flag right here on Sim Racing Media. Monday night going to be championship night here in the A Lot Cleaner Property Management and Maintenance Xfinity Series, while rounding out your 2023 SNN Family of Racing Series, the Truck Series, brought to you by Jack Dow Simulators and Esports, finishes up on next Tuesday night, going green at 8:20 p.m. Of course, the Stacy Strong Cup Series going to be at 7:30 right here on Sim Racing Media. You'll have myself and a mystery guest, because we simply don't know who's going to sit alongside of me on Sunday night. Possibly Liam Yervig, but not sure yet. So look forward to that. And as always, I look forward to spending all of my Sunday, Monday, and Tuesdays with you folks, as we have all season long. It has been a great year here in the Xfinity Series, and I just want to thank all of you for making us a part of your evening. So for myself, Dave Regal, and everybody here at Sim Racing Media live in the Tony Trapasso Memorial Broadcast booth, I want to thank you for watching and listening with us. And tomorrow, as you go through your day, remember, you're special. You're the only one like you. And that's fine by me. Good night, everybody.